Whatever you're fighting with, whatever's weighing you down, whatever is threatening to overwhelm you, God, He's already going before you. He's already preparing the way ahead of you. It's not like heading into an uncut and uncared for field where you have to push through the briars and the weeds and the tangles yourself. God's going before you. The second part of that is He will never leave you or forsake you. He's not going to turn His back on you and run away when things get rough. He's going to stay there right by your side. He's going before you, preparing the way, and He's got you in His hand. He's not going to let you go. And so, He says, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. I know in some of my own struggles, I have felt afraid and discouraged because I forgot these promises that God was with me. He was watching over me. And the second verse is from Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. And it kind of ties into the reason of why God being with us is even more important, is that I can do everything through Him who gives me strength. Referring to Christ. If God is with you, Christ is with you. And if Christ is with you, God can accomplish anything in your life. You might think that what you're fighting with or dealing with is overwhelming and you're never going to break free of it. But God has made very clear in His Word that, one, He's with us. He's not going to leave you. And that you really can, with His strength, overcome whatever you're fighting with or dealing with. I can only speak from my own experience. I don't know what all everybody here is dealing with. So this morning I'm going to share a little bit of my life and struggle because it illustrates these two verses, that God has always been with me and He has never left me and that He is enabling me to do whatever He wishes. One of the things I've learned about myself this past year is that I've lived most of my life extremely closed off, not letting anybody get close, not letting anybody get in. Because people who get too close, and maybe some of you have experienced this, you let people get close, whether they mean to or not, they can hurt you. And so I've lived my life keeping everybody out. There are several reasons why I want to share this morning. One, as I've already mentioned, to show God's promises at work. To share some of the burdens that I'm still letting go. Hopefully to further put them down. To hopefully, as we share our burdens, as God asks us to, our experience can help another. Maybe it can give them encouragement. Maybe it can give them understanding that they're not alone, that there is someone who's been through it and understands. And also to take a step towards being open and not so closed off. The main verse for me here, not only is, they're both awesome verses, but it's that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And the reason I say that is because as I stand here this morning, there is no sane or rational reason why I should be here. There are many different reasons. There are some physical reasons I'm going to share with you, and there are some emotional reasons. I guess we'll just start with the physical and move from there. When I was 12, I was hit by a car, and I broke both my legs in 3 different places. I suffered a severe concussion. My left leg was broken 2 places in the ankle, and then a few inches below the knee. My right leg was broken a few inches above the right knee, and also 2 places in the ankle. There were some doctors who were not sure that I would ever be able to walk again or walk properly. Some were concerned that my legs would grow at different lengths and I would need assistance, but many of them were unsure that I would be able to move around like I am right now. I walked up here this morning. I can run. God was with me. He didn't leave me. He didn't forsake me. He brought me healing. He made it possible for me to physically stand here this morning. My parents were acquaintances of the police chief in our township. At that point in time, he had been the police chief for 16 years, and he shared with my parents that it is in his entire tenure as police chief, and of all the miners who had been hit by automobiles, I'm the only one still living. So God was with me, and he sustained me, and he made it possible for me to be here this morning. This past year, moving up to present time, and I'm going to jump back again. This past year has been very difficult for myself and, by association, my family, my relationship with my wife. I don't know if any of you have ever had an opportunity to study how amazing the human mind is. God made our minds in ways that even our best scientists and doctors don't understand. And one of the things, I remember learning about it in college, was as we deal with extremely difficult things, trauma and whatever have you, our mind can protect itself through different techniques, by building walls and barriers and suppressing memories and all that kind of thing. And this past January, and I realize now it kind of started before that, it was kind of building up, I was literally on a downward spiral. And January this year, a lot of those walls and barriers and such, literally began to disintegrate for me. And with that, came out all sorts of emotions and feelings and even, yes, memories. And like a dam, when it's broken, it all just kind of comes out at once. And it was overwhelming. And twice in the month of January, very seriously considered taking my own life. But God was with me. And he reminded me of the things I needed to remember. He reminded me of how important my wife and my children are to me and how I would not want to hurt them. He reminded me of what I feel he's still calling me towards. He reminded me of the things I needed to remember. So his presence and not leaving me has enabled me once again to be here this morning. Before I move on, I want to add not really a disclaimer, but I don't know any other word to describe it. What I'm going to share next, I know not everybody is comfortable with certain topics. Everybody's in different places, and we all handle different things. And so I'm not going to get specific. I'm just going to give a general. And just want to let you know that if you want to talk about it with me, I'm okay with that. If you have questions, I'm okay with that. I know sometimes when people share, or the best illustration I can think of is when you're at a funeral and you go through the line at the end, you always feel like you should say something, but it can be awkward and you don't know what to say. If you feel awkward and don't know what to say, you don't have to say anything at all. It's okay. I'm okay.